Hey everybody, welcome to Hidden Horror. How are you guys doing? Today I'm here to bring the last reaction to the families of the victims when Bryan Kohberger pled guilty. So today I'm going to be talking about Kaylee Goncalves. So put her picture up. Um, I can really relate to the parents, Christy and Steve Gonzalez reaction, the frustration, the anger, the wanting the answers, the wanting to know, um, feeling betrayed, feeling frustrated with the prosecution of Bryan Kohberger, feeling blindsided, not knowing, feeling like a yo-yo, not getting direct communication. I understand it all, and I relate to um, how they've handled things quite a bit. So we're going to jump in. We're going to get right started. We're talking about Kaylee, just a vivacious, bright star, just full of energy, full of life, vigor. Just her smile alone just calms you, puts you in a good place. Beautiful, beautiful spirit, energy, loving, kind, just a friend to have, a friend indeed. Um, just can't say anything but positive things about this young lady, um, and how was just a tremendous loss to her family, to her friends, to the community. What would Kaylee have become having nothing but the world in front of her to behold? What would she have become? We will never, never know. So we're talking about Kaylee today, and the Gonzalez family, they have been very upfront from day one, vocal, trying to figure out who killed their daughter and the other victims, Ethan Chapin, Zainal Konodo, and Madison Mogan. Who wanted to hurt these four college students? Friends, who wanted to hurt them? What was the motive? Why did this happen to Kaylee, to Maddie, to Ethan, and to Zaina? Why were they brutally killed, brutally attacked? Each one of them receiving stabbings. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it all. Okay, let's get started. The article is coming from the IdahoStatesman.com. It's dated July 18th, 2025. It's by Shannon Tyler, and it's titled The Gonzalez Parents Say They Wanted Bryan Kohberger to Say the Victims' Names. Say their names. Let's find a new picture for Katie. She's so beautiful in all the pictures, just nothing but smiles. The parents of Kaylee Goncalves, one of the four University of Idaho students stabbed to death in a Moscow home, spoke out about their frustrations over the lack of information on how their daughter died and the plea deal offered to Bryan Kohberger, who admitted to 4 counts of first-degree murder and also the burglary. Okay, I'll add that in exchange for no longer facing the possibility of the death penalty at trial. Steve and Christy Gonsalves, who have been vocal about their support for capital punishment for Kohberger, and their attorney appeared on the Today Show Friday and said they hope to see the case go to trial. So just up until that moment, that prior Friday, I saw stuff about the jury questions. So I thought it was going to trial. Okay, me too. They had also hoped to get more answers on what happened to their daughter that night, they said. Unfortunately, that was not part of his plea deal. He did not have to disclose any details. He didn't have to provide any answers. So they just will not know what happened. Let's continue. The Goncalves said they have been pressing for more information from the Idaho State Police, Moscow Police, and FBI about their daughter's murder and her last few moments to write an accurate victim's impact statement. The family's attorney, Shannon Gray, told Today he spoke with the prosecuting attorneys to try to get more information from the discovery case as soon as possible. So for me, I believe part of the deal that the prosecutors are making is to provide the family with the discovery information. Now, it could be redacted, it could take a long time, but allegedly they're supposed to get the discovery information. I don't know if that's going to be available to everybody through the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA. I don't know. I've told you some of the things that I'm interested in is the toxicology screen for all the victims, the autopsy report for all the victims, because it appeared that there were multiple weapons, making me feel that there were multiple people involved. Um, I don't know if they're ever going to tell people publicly what happened to Ethan, but it seemed to be very vicious. A lot of rage that what happened to him, and very personal what happened to him, as well as some of the things that happened to Kaylee with her being punched in the face, the crushing of her bones in her face, also the extensive stabbings, allegedly over 50 stabbings. This is someone that's in rage and anger. It takes a lot of physical energy to stab someone that many times. And I just want to review the reports, as well as I want to find the testimony when they were discussing the DNA, because it was very, very concerning to me. So I'm still going to look into those things if it ever becomes released. But let's continue with the article. The Goncalves received limited information from the coroner about how Kaylee died that night. She had several stab wounds, a broken nose, signs of asphyxiation, and defense wounds on her arms, Christie told the Today Show. So, okay, this is new information. Take a little note to find something to write on. At some point, I need to write this out. Have a little notepad. So something else I learned was that recently came out was that Dylan Mortensen was allegedly 3 feet away from the alleged killer. Sorry. My apologies. Well, I'm just going to say intruder. And now they're saying that Kaylee had a broken nose, asphyxiation, so she was strangled. So on top of being, okay, let me just write it out real quick, and defensive wounds on her arms. On top of Kaylee being hit in the face, she has a broken nose, stabbings, also stabbed. Then the killer is also choking her, strangling her. I'm telling you, y'all, I don't even mean to go through this right now, but I'm reading it. What's the motive? What's the motivation? One of the three ways could have killed Kaylee: the strangulation, the stabbings, or the broken bones in the face, potentially. What's the motive? This is why I said we have to go back to the idea of a stalker. Was someone stalking Kaylee Goncalves? She thought she had a stalker. This is something that is very hard for me to move off because this property was a property that had all women. Was someone stalking the girls or stalking Kaylee, following Kaylee, tracking Kaylee? Why such a brutal death? Why so much anger? A stabbing is up close. Strangling someone takes quite a bit of time. It's up close, it's personal, it's looking into the person's eyes, seeing their life leave their body. Now, why did this happen to them? Why did Kaylee just get, you know, such a violent death? Let's continue. My apologies. Steve Gonsalves said he wants to know more details about that night, such as how many times his daughter was stabbed. It was reported 52 times, but how many times was Kaylee stabbed? Where is this autopsy report? And that he wants to find out through the investigators, not from the media or from Kohberger himself. I think we're going to find out secrets through his sick, twisted mind, he said. He's going to write about it. He's going to have exclusive interviews with his family members. That's how we're going to hear about it. Kohberger, 30, was a Washington State University graduate student in Pullman across the Washington-Idaho state line. At the time of the murders in November of 2022, he answered yes to the presiding judge's questions on whether he had willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, fatally stabbed to death the U of I students Madison Mogen, Kaylee Goncalves, Zaina Cornado, and Ethan Chapin. The Goncalves were prepared for a months-long trial for their daughter's murder, and her father said they wanted to see Kohberger face accountability of the highest that there is. Now, Kaylee's father said the family is grappling with the change and trying to move on. When the couple heard Kohberger admit to the killing of their daughter, it was hard to hear and wished Kohberger would have had to say the victims' names, Christy Goncalves told the Today Show. It shows a little bit more accountability and owning up to what he did to have to say the victims' names, our daughter's name, not just yes, 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 she said. I just feel like that was a really easy way to admit his guilt. Some families supported the plea deal to avoid a lengthy trial while ensuring punishment for Kohberger. In a statement to the Statesman, the family of Madison Mogen said this: it will allow those who knew the four young adults time to grieve without the anxiety of the long and gruesome trial and potential appeals. It was very surreal. It was very emotional to hear it, Christy Goncalves said, recalling Kohberger's guilty plea. Something that, I don't think we were ever really prepared to hear or think that we would hear. Fourth Judicial District Judge Stephen Hippler, my apologies. We read like the last paragraph. My tablet, I don't know if it's going to pull it up or not. It's kind of frozen. It's pulling up now. I'm sorry. My apologies. Fourth Judicial District Judge Stephen Hibbler lifted the gag order that prevented investigators, law enforcement, and attorneys from speaking publicly about the case after 24 media outlets and organizations, including the Idaho Statesman, filed a motion to rescind the order. Kohberger's sentencing is scheduled for July 23rd. Okay, so we're done with that article. There's always like a little bit of information in the article that can help us later when we're looking at the case. So I just really appreciate the information. So they refer to the interview with the Today Show. Let's go and see that interview. So let me just set that up to share. Okay, so this is provided by CBS Mornings. The title of the video is Family of Idaho Student Killed Speaks Out After Gag Order Lifted. So let's just go full screen. It's about 10 minutes long.
The latest on the case of the 4 Idaho college students murdered back in 2022, and Gail's with us with more. Gail.
Gag order in the case against the killer. His name is Bryan Kohberger. This after Kohberger accepted a deal to plead guilty to the murders of the 4 students. The families have waited nearly 3 years, think about that for a second, for a trial that was originally scheduled to begin just a few weeks from now. Joining us now is the family of one of the students, Kaylee Goncalves. Her parents are Steve and Christy. They're joining us along with their attorney, Shannon Gray. Guys, I'm so sorry that you're here under these circumstances, but I really want people to know your story. You know, when this first happened, it was something that really shocked the nation, shocked all of us. The brutality of it was still something that was so stomach-turning. But for you, this has been a life-changing event. Your lives will never be the same. And I'm wondering, Steve, if you could start us off with how you all got the news and how you heard about the news.
It was a normal Sunday. We were watching football, family all together. We got a phone call from a cousin that said they had family that was down in Moscow and that there was cops in an ambulance around our daughter's house.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2025.
While they were sitting there, there was rumors, but basically a vandal alert came out that said there was 4 dead.
Yeah, that's an alert from the school.
Yeah, the college sent out an alert. That's how we found out our daughter was gone.
And the reason why I think this is so important that we're sitting here today, I think most people think the families know all the details of the case about everything that has happened, Christy. And that's why it's so important as you sit here today that the gag order has been lifted, because I'm thinking you all know all the details of what happened to your daughter that night, but you were telling me that you actually don't.
No, we don't. We don't know any more than pretty much everybody else. So with this gag order being lifted, it will allow us to know more of what happened to our daughter.
Steve, why do you want to know the details? Some people would say the fact that he's going to plead guilty, that he will be in prison for the rest of his life, that he will never be released. You won't have to go through the trial and hear some of the most gruesome things that you've ever heard. Why do you want to hear the details?
I think by hiding the truth, we're protecting our killers. We have to show the ugliness of what this person did. We're writing our victims' impact statements, and we don't even know what the impact is because they've hid the impact from all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want gruesome crime scene photos or blood or gore or anything like that, but I need to know the facts of what, how many times was my daughter stabbed? Was she choked? What happened? And that should be part of our victims' statement. And they're robbing us. And they're protecting the killer still. To this day, they're still protecting a guy.
And admitted to killing her.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense to us.
Tell me why you want to know that. Why you want to know those specific details. It's painful for me to just hear it. you know?
I want people to understand that we have to hold people to a different standard when they end life. When you end life, you can't. I want school shootings to stop. I want these mass shootings to stop. And I think you can't do that by just brushing it under the table, putting a gag order, wrapping it up in a bow and say, he pleaded guilty. It's all done. Let's just move on.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can do better than that.
Mm-hmm. Lifting the gag order, Shannon, you say is important too. Why? Because, you know, they know some of the details, but I'm surprised to hear they don't know all the details.
Well, it's a couple of things. You obviously the discovery in the case, right? We now could have access to the discovery in the case. We already had a meeting with the prosecutor's office in this case and asked them for a copy of the discovery.
And giving you discovery would do what?
Police reports, you know, the university, or it's Idaho State Police, Moscow Police Department, the FBI, all have investigative reports, the investigation that was done, photographs, pictures, all of those things that are part of the discovery gives us an opportunity to find some answers that they don't have right now. And then you also have the court, all the filings with the court that can be unsealed. We obviously know that most of that stuff will be redacted to protect the information of those privileged, which it should. But all of that information is very important, and it's important that the prosecution keeps their promise to the victim's family and gives them a copy of that discovery. But because if you have to go through the normal course, you do public records requests through all the agencies, and it could take years to get all that information.
Chrissy and Steve, were you surprised when he actually finally did plead guilty? Because it's been my understanding you thought he was guilty for a long time. When you actually heard that when you actually heard him say the words, did that surprise you to hear him admit to it?
No, wouldn't you plead guilty to save your life?
Mm-hmm.
A simple yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. Get up and do it once. Go sit in front of the courtroom and say yes. I think it was 41 times, guilty 5 times, something like that. But I mean, if you're going to save your life
I think he
and
has,
not be on death row,
he wants control. He wants to be able to have that final say of how this is going to end. And that's part of the reason why we would have asked for them to make some negotiations and, you know, made him prove, you know, where the weapon was or the kill kit, all these details, because those are the details that the conspiracy theorists would have to be like, okay, it's over, it's done.
Life in prison with no chance of parole is still not good enough for you. Some families say, listen, I'm just glad to know that he's not going to get out, that he can't do this to anyone else again. That's not good enough for you because you think about the type of life he would lead in prison, Steve?
Yeah, he's dedicated his life. He has a master's degree in criminology. He knows that he can write legal papers for other prisoners and work favors. He can still have influence. This man killed my daughter. I want him to have no influence in the world anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to still be able to do interviews. He's still going to be able to
help fellow inmates, you know, with things.
get them prescriptions. All these type of things will give him a better and more rewarding life inside, I call it adult care.
Mm-hmm.
Prison is just like adult care. So it's my daughter deserved better than that.
Yeah, what is it like for you? I know you've been in the courtroom. What is it like for you to sit and see him? I often wonder, I've seen you on TV from the very beginning, Steve. You've been very outspoken. And every time I see you, I wonder how he's getting through it. What is it like for you to sit and see him?
It's disgusting. You know, I hate being in that courtroom. I hate people protecting evil, and they protect evil in there. And that's very hard for a father to deal with. I don't want anyone to have to go through that. But yeah, I mean.
Do you guys feel he's been remorseful?
No, not at all.
He's shown zero remorse.
Mm-hmm.
Not one bit. He's like a robot, a killing robot.
Mm-hmm.
There's one easy salt trick that anyone can try to combat nerve pain almost instantly. Did you know that?
And
would that be helpful to you if he showed remorse?
I think it would. I think it would be because, you know, maybe he could go in there and say, I went in there for one person, I lusted, I had a moment, I was drunk or I was on drugs, and it just went crazy. That would make more sense.
We still, as a public, we still don't know the motive. Do you all know the motive?
No.
No. And I don't think they want anyone to know the motive. I don't think they want anyone to know when he first came on their radar. Mm-hmm. I've heard different dates on that. That's accountability that they're getting out of with a gag order and sealing things.
Mm-hmm.
I want full accountability.
Do you think they know the motive, Shannon, with all the information that they have?
I don't think
prosecutors
they do.
And officials, yeah.
I mean, I think they're guessing. I think it's, you know, we'll get a copy of that discovery. We'll have a chance to make our own opinions on it. But I think motive was always an issue. They didn't know what the motive was, right? They knew they had a defendant that was.
Yeah, we hear different things.
Right.
So I was curious. But I can't get over your daughter, Kaylee. Every time I see her picture, it does make me smile. You see the video of her. She was so full of life. And she and Maddie, there you are, Steve. She and Maddie seem to have been best friends for a very long time. How do you all get through this? How do you process it? How do you keep her memory alive? It's nice to see you smile when you talk about her, but I'm wondering, I know it's very difficult.
For me, I
Christy?
focus on the other babies. I focus on
How
right
many
now.
children do you have? Other
We
children?
have 5.
5.
Kaylee was the middle of 5. And, you know, we all talk about her all the time, every day. There's not a day that, you know.
Is that helpful?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Mhm.
You know, and we constantly see new pictures, and, you know, we have friends that will send me pictures or text me pictures or send them to us. And so, you know, seeing new pictures are always, you know, the light of our day. But, videos have gotten really hard for me to watch. I used to be able to watch them, but videos and hearing her voice and like seeing her, you know, laughing or whatnot.
And I'll bet it comes in waves for you, Steve.
Yeah, I focus a lot on the kids. Like yesterday, we brought one of our kids out to New York with us, and it was on her bucket list.
Yeah.
She's about to go to college, so we were just really love being around her. And she's doing pranks, and she's just reminding us
Yeah.
of Kaylee all over again. And that's what I try to focus on.
And I'll let you go with this because I have seen you from the very beginning. What would be the most helpful to you from people who are watching you and feeling for you and sympathizing? What would be the most helpful for you?
I would say, I hate to say it, but if any other family has to go through something like this, get a lawyer, fight as much as you can, honor your child to the very end, do everything you can, let the world know that we got to get better. We got to stop doing these killings. We got to treat people better. Yeah. This is no way to do it.
You were right about that. Thank you guys for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tony and Adriana.
Gail, thank you very much, and thank you to the family for gracing us with their time this morning.
Man, every time, you know, you hear Steve and Kaylee Goncalves, you know, they're right on it. They're not wrong for how they feel, the need for the answers, the wanting to know. Is nothing wrong with wanting to know the answers of who killed your child and why did they do it? How did they do it? Why did they inflict all this harm? It's really unfortunate. I want to go to the Facebook page for the Goncalves family because they go a little bit more into depth about their feelings. So I'm assuming I can share my screen for my Facebook page. Yes. Okay. So okay, wait a minute. So we're on the Goncalves family page. It's on Facebook. I've checked it out a few times, but there's a few things that I just want to highlight on here. So let me see. It's a few of their statements that I want to go over. They're after the plea, really pretty much when it was announced that there would be a plea deal. I was interested in that and then their response to that, okay? So let's just check this out. Okay. There's about 3 posts I just want to highlight. Okay. So I don't want to talk so much about that. So one of the things they talked about is how they got the information about the plea deal. I don't know if I can enlarge this or not. I'm going to try to read it. It says, I would like to clarify a couple of things. We did talk to the prosecution on Friday about the possibility of a plea deal, and it was a hard no from our family. It was very nonchalant and barely discussed as the majority of the conversation was surrounding the upcoming trial. Nothing in our conversation prepared us for the next steps, Sunday night, we received an email that sent us scrambling. We immediately jumped into panic mode and started making phone calls and sending emails. We met with the prosecution again today to reiterate our views on pushing for the death penalty. Unfortunately, all of our efforts did not matter. We did our best. We fought harder than anyone could ever imagine. Please do not argue or try to tell us that we should have done this or that. We gave it 200% for the last 2 years and 7 months. One day, we will tell you all what we have really been through from day one. You will all be shocked. We fought a long battle, but we lost the war. We did gain an army of love that we know will always stand by us. We have so much love for each and every one of you. You all gave us strength when we felt we couldn't take another step, called us off the ledge when we were ready to wave the white flag, and most importantly, prayed for us when we were in utter despair and hopeless. So much love to all of you. So that was posted on June 30th. So we're going to go up a little bit. This is July 1st when they're talking a little bit about the death penalty. It says the Goncalves family statement. The death penalty is merely an illusion in the criminal justice system. When available, it serves as a bargaining tool for the state, and when rarely applied, it's never enforced due to a highly inefficient appellate process. The notion that someone can plead guilty to a crime and still face years of appellate delays reveals a systemic failure. The Latah County Prosecutor's Office treatment of our family during this process is something I wouldn't wish on anyone. We questioned decisions early in the investigation. Why was the mayor commenting on the case? Why was the coroner speaking to families? Why was an officer with less than 2 years experience leading the investigation? Why was the University of Idaho involved when they declared it an isolated off-campus incident? Why was the university permitted to write a book about the incident while others were silenced under an overly broad order? As a result, we were branded adversaries, so it was no shock how the Latah County Prosecutor's Office mishandled the plea deal. They vaguely mentioned a possible plea on Friday without seeking our input and presented the plea on Sunday. Latah County should be ashamed of its prosecutor's office. 4 wonderful young people lost their lives, yet the victims' families were treated as opponents from the outset. We weren't even called about the plea. We received an email with a letter attached. That's how Latah County Prosecutor's Office treats murder victims' families. Adding insult to injury, they're rushing the plea, giving families just 1 day to coordinate and appear at the courthouse for a plea on July 2nd. Who do they think they are? After more than 2 years, this is how it concludes, with a secretive deal and a hurried effort to close the case without any input from the victims' families on the plea details. Our family is frustrated right now, and that will subside, and we will come together as always and deal with the reality that we face moving forward. Once again, we thank everyone for their thoughts and prayers. Okay. So I do want to just highlight this post. At one point, they were recommending people to reach out to the court. They also wanted people to reach out to the U.S. Department of Justice. So in this post on July 1st, it says, we're seeking all the support we can gather. Below is a link to contact the United States Department of Justice. If you share our stance on this issue, we kindly encourage you to use this link to voice your concerns. So that was provided. Now let's continue. This is July 2nd. Right here, right now, we dig our heels into the earth and carve a line deep in the dirt. This ain't justice. No judge presided, no jury weighed the truth. Thompson robbed us of our day in court. No negotiations, no jury of our peers, not even the pretense of cooperation and fairness. Cowardly men, gutless men, they scatter like roaches when the battle closes in. And Thompson, he's retiring on this deal, his shadow slithering toward the exit, leaving only the stench of his betrayal. No spine, no shred of honor. He didn't have the basic decency, the plain human courage to face the families, to meet our eyes and ask, how do we make an offer that works? Instead, Thompson cut his deal with the devil. His negotiations didn't require anything other than a simple guilty plea, allowing him the leeway to blame the same people you are paid to protect. You betrayed us, Thompson. Your deal fails to shield the innocent. You could have stood tall and made damn sure the blame stayed where it belongs, not on us, not on the broken survivor still carrying the weight of your repeated failures. This is our courtroom now. This moment, this stand, our voices rise to every American who'll listen. We would have provided protection for the roommates, the best friends, the fallen vet. God rest his soul, and every soul affected in our shattered community. We would have carved our terms like sacred commandments etched deep into unyielding granite, a testament to those we've lost and the justice they're owed. First, truth, spill it. BK, every sickening detail on the killer could know, the kind that twists your guts just to hear, but turns even a simpleton Kohberger against you. Second, you bear the guilt, excuse me, of it alone. You don't get to smear the survivors, the ones still waking to nightmares born of your reckless choices. Third, no cashing in on our grief, no books, no private interviews with your ex-professor. No one is allowed to study you because you're not special. You don't get to spit on our kids' graves by making this all about you. Only Hitler can step into this void, mend the wreckage Thompson left in Latah, so-called justice system. This is what murder victims' families' negotiations look like. It's ugly, it's raw, it's wild, it's anything but easy. Yet you, Mr. Thompson, didn't even bother to negotiate with us. So this is all we have left. There is no more time for us to wait for you to make us stand. So we stand in your place. Kaylee Goncalves, we love you, baby. You deserve better than this justice system. Your soul is not Thompson bargaining chip. We do not accept his plea deal signed in your name. We're screaming for you as loud as we can. Kaylee J is better than this. This is our last shot. Judge Hitler, you are the only hope that our children murder isn't granted control over his destiny and our children's names. You take control of this deal and make it right, because now you own it. And Zena just had a birthday recently too. This is the last post that I read. This was on July the 11th. Hello, everyone. I wanted to make this post to answer many questions we have been seeing and to clear up any rumors. The Goncalves family and the Laramie family stand united together. We have not wavered for the love we have for each other and the love we have for Kaylee and Maddie. We 100%, we 100% respect each other's decisions. Our bond is unbreakable. So again, you can check out the Goncalves family page on Facebook if you want to go over those posts. So the last thing I want to do, I want to go over a memory video of Kaylee. So it's about 2 minutes long. These videos were made for each victim, and this is the one for Kaylee. It's by King 5 Seattle, and it's titled Remembering Idaho Murder Victims. Who was Kaylee Goncalves?
Kaylee Goncalves leaves a big void in her big family. Growing up in Rathdrum, Idaho, they describe her as the ultimate middle child.
She was always competitive. There was never a day that she didn't want to race her brother because she was just determined that girls were faster than boys, or that she didn't want to go bug her little sisters and make sure they knew that she was older.
Smack dab in the middle of 5 kids, Kaylee's mother, Christy, can't imagine what the family will be like without her.
The dynamics of the family will never be the same.
The 21-year-old was a senior at the University of Idaho. She was majoring in general studies. According to an obituary in the Coeur d'Alene Press, she was studying to become an elementary school teacher. Kaylee had a heart for adventure, was known for playing pranks on her family. She also loved her mini golden doodle Murphy, who her family says was her fur baby. Her sister Olivia says Kaylee was tough and fair, didn't hold back in love, fights, or life.
We'll miss that gift that she brought to us every single day, and she was a little ornery too, so we'll miss that as well.
Kaylee's father, Steve, smiles as he reflects on her love of country music and concerts. Her love of her best friend, Madison Mogan. She grew up alongside Madison. She died alongside her too.
They were beyond sisters, because sisters are, you kind of forced to get along. These two didn't, they weren't forced. They were just like yin and yang.
The national spotlight may be on the suspect, but Steve wants to keep the focus on the beautiful lives lost. Moving forward, he's also working on forgiveness.
We're not going to walk around with darkness in our heart for the rest of our lives and, have his name written there like a tattoo on our consciousness. So yeah, you have to forget. At least I feel you have to forgive. Otherwise, it's just a cancer inside you, and I'm not willing to live with that inside me.
Watch what magnesium does to your bowels.
Okay. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. We gotta switch this picture of Kaylee. So many wonderful pictures of her. Let's see. I'll get a picture. That's her and Murphy. This is a nice one. Oh, you couldn't see that one. Let's see if we can. This is a beautiful picture of her. So, we kind of heard from the point of view of primarily Christy and Steve Goncalves. They're not happy with the plea. They wanted to hear Bryan Kohberger say the victims' names, all their names, including, of course, Kaylee's name. And they wanted him to be more accountable for what happened and give details for what happened. And of course, that was not part of the plea deal. So Bryan Kohberger didn't have to state any details of how he caused their murder or why. So I understand. I'm going to respect their feelings, and I am aligning a lot with how they feel and that frustration. So the next video, I'm going to go over Bryan Kohberger's family statement, and I'm going to provide that long list of all the questions that I have since Bryan Kohberger did the plea. So that will be in the next video. And then, of course, the sentencing is on July 23rd, 2025. So I will do a separate video for that. And depending on what evidence is released, what documents, what information, there could also be future videos regarding Idaho 4. So just want to thank you for spending this time with me. I really, really appreciate it. I want you to stay safe, stay smart, stay savvy, be well, all my friends. Bye, everybody.